In this next section, I want to talk to you about a training aid. I'm joined by Brad Ott, who is the inventor of Core Golf. And what we're going to do here, Brad, for everyone's knowledge here, Brad played professional golf for 17 years. He won on the Nationwide Tour in 2004. Now gone a little bit more into the teaching and training, and Brad has actually helped me increase my club head speed with some of the stuff that he has learned from guys around the world. So one of the things that we're going to do here, Brad, if you want to talk to a little bit about the Core Golf, and Brad's going to have you get into a little bit more about how to train speed, how we use resistance, and how we use acceleration to do that. Brad, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I've always wanted to develop some type of swing training aid, first of all, that you can use while you're hitting the golf ball, and second of all, it would allow you to feel some type of resistance to make you stronger while you're hitting the golf ball, and also increase your club head speed while you're hitting the golf ball. Therefore, you can increase your strength and your speed, which produces more power.
Absolutely. And so what this is going to do, Brad, if you want to go ahead and set this up really quick, we've talked so much today about how the rotation of the body, how we're trying to get into this impact position, and how the hips actually rotate. And what's great about this is this thing will really increase the speed of your hips. So he's got some stakes here that he's putting into the ground, which when you guys see this or use this, which you'll be able to get this training aid on our website, it really is going to give you the feeling of, one, how your hips clear through impact so much better. And it's also, when you switch it around, which Brad will show you, how it's going to resist that, and you're going to have to fight that and really kind of go forward. So how do you do it from here, Brad?
Well, it's all set up. That took about 10 to 12 seconds. First of all, what I like to do is I like to start out with some resistance training to get the body a little bit woken up and kind of produce a little bit of strength. And then what I'll do is I'll switch it over to the speed mode to help me feel a little bit more speed in my golf swing.
Right.
So, and I always try and end with the speed. So the first one I'll do is I'll set up for the resisted, which is the strength training. And what I'll do is I'll just face away from the target we're hitting behind us. I'll put a golf ball just outside the post. I've got a square here that's about 1 foot by 1 foot. So I can probably hit 10 to 15 golf shots in this one area. So what I'll do is I'll start it at the front of the box of the hitting area. I'll connect myself on the lateral loops, which is kind of, we've got 2 loops on each side of lateral, so I can make this harder and harder if I loop around to another loop. So the first one I'll start as kind of the neutral position. Then what I'll do is I'll rotate into the golf ball, and I'm ready to go.
Go ahead and hit some for us. Show us what what this is. Now this is the resistance. So
yeah, this is going to provide, as I come through the golf ball, it's providing resistance. It's making me have to work harder than I normally work.
Okay.
So it's similar to the old, I don't know if you've ever done the arm in the door trick where you push the door, your hand inside the door jamb out, and when you walk away, your arms raise.
Yeah.
Similar to this, I'll hit golf balls while it's resisting me. As soon as I unhook and I go out and hit a golf ball, I'll notice that my body works a lot better than it did before I started.
Absolutely. Yeah, hit some for us. Take one, so no warm-ups for you. So you're on camera, you got to go.
Yeah, this is more like training. It's not really as much golf. It's more training. So this is almost like a small workout. So the next, I'll hit about 4 or 5 golf balls, and I'll make it a little bit of a light workout for a couple minutes.
The feeling that when I used this training aid, I loved it. It just gave me such a different feel of how the body works through the shot. And, it's a workout. I mean, you're tired after doing a few of these, so.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of work in my hips right now. They're after about 3 balls, they're starting to get tired.
And this goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier of how the hips, Brad, I was explaining to him how, the golf swing works from the ground up, and I sort of dispelled this myth, and it actually doesn't work from the ground up. It works from the hips initially as they are shifting, and then it goes to the ground and then back up.
That's exactly right.
This is really sort of the power source for golfers, and it's amazing, even working with junior golfers, younger kids. For everyone out there that has kids or has grandkids that have played golf, you'll notice that juniors, that is the strength of their golf swing. That's what they do. They fire their hips first. That's why you see these young guys like Rory McIlroy, they're hitting it forever. Their hips and everything, they're creating so much speed there, and then it just gets funneled out through their body. So This is, when I work with junior golfers, I try not to, if anything, I'm not going to slow their hips down. because that's the strongest part of their body. And so I'm like, hey, let's get the hips going, let's go, go, go. As they get older and they get stronger, we can sequence things up better. But
Yes.
this is the strongest part of your body. And so if we can get you to train this like Brad's doing here with the resistance mode, it can really help out. So after you do that, then what do you do, Brad?
Well, what I'll do then, you can do one of two things. You can take this off and hit a few golf balls to see what that resisted does to you. And what you'll notice is that your hips, not only do they rotate more, but they rotate faster.
Yeah.
Because my resistance is about to go away if I hit a golf ball without it.
Yeah.
But just for instructional purposes, what I'll do now is I'll show you the speed mode.
Okay.
So what I have now is my hips are kind of tired because they've been working really hard to fight the resistance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to speed them up. I'm going to show them what it feels like to go faster than what they naturally do. So I'll face the target, I'll hook in, and now what happens is it wants to make me go faster.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of go uncomfortably fast.
And so what the people are seeing is this cord here is actually pulling on this hip. It's pulling him back. So that's why through the shot, he's going to have so much speed. Is that correct, Brad?
Yeah, actually both hips. The back hip will be pulling the back cord will pull the left hip, the front cord will pull the right hip.
Okay.
And eventually what it'll do is it'll get them level, so fully rotated, and they'll go faster than what I know how to make them go.
Right. And so what the idea behind this is similar to a runner who is running downhill to get those impulses to his brain, to his body to actually work faster than what he normally would. Is that correct?
Exactly. The body has certain protective mechanisms that only like certain speeds, and this is a way to tease the body to go faster than what it's comfortable. And what the body recognizes is once it goes these speeds that it's not used to, it kind of accepts these speeds.
Right.
But you also have to have the strength to maintain these speeds. That's why you need to contrast the training with the core golf, is you need to be strong as well as fast.
Right, absolutely.
So yeah, now what this is going to do, it's going to twist me a lot faster than what I'm used to going. And every time I hit balls into this mode, I'll notice the ball goes about 10 yards further with a 7-iron. And it's kind of fun. But eventually I get going pretty fast, and you know, I'll get back to strength mode. I'll kind of go back and forth.
Well, I think simply by, you know, I've used this on students of mine that for several reasons, you know, one of the biggest power sources or robbing power sources, you know, people come in and they start getting into this motion with their hips, and the club then gets dumped and all this stuff where they lose the lag. And again, what I want to kind of give this a reference to is the power of the hips. Is if you had a bucket with some water and you were sort of swinging your arm this way, the water stays in. Well, that's centrifugal force that's keeping it in there, but as soon as you stop, the water comes out. And it's the same thing with the body. As the body is rotating, and once this knee stops, that's when the lag is released. So often people, when their body doesn't work properly and their hips are either sliding, you know, or they're stalling out, that's that water dumping, and that's why we see so many times where people are losing that lag.
Yeah.
And this really kind of teaches how the body should work in the swing, or any rotational sport for that matter.
Yeah, if you can keep that centrifugal force moving, and that was one of my biggest faults is when I played professional golf, I always had a tendency to stop the hip rotation.
Yeah.
And when my hips were moving at their best, that's when I usually played my best.
Yeah.
Golf was easier. It's easier to produce power.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what I'll do is I'll just I'll hit the same amount. I'll try and keep the sides just as equal. So if I do 5 shots on the power, I'll do 5 speeds. Sorry, 5 on the strength, and I'll do 5 speeds. Because I feel like without power and without speed, you can't produce power without speed and strength. So what I'll try and do is equal amount of strength as I do speed, just so that I'm always producing more power.
Okay.
So I got a couple more speeds.
Same ball flight every time, which is pretty good. I like it.
Well, it's easier for me to hit golf balls in this. I really wish I'd invented this years ago, but it makes it easier for me to move my hips. My hips cannot stop.
And again, Core Golf is the name of this thing, and you can get it again. We'll have this up on our website where you can get a hold of this. I definitely recommend it. It's, like I said, the feeling I had when I was first on it was pretty amazing. And you know, Brad and I've talked about this. There are certain things in the gym, you know, that you can use similar stuff, but it's not something that you can come and really take it to the course, which really allows it, which is, I think is great. You know, we can do strength training all day long in the gym, but we need that bridge, if you will, to go from the gym to the course and, you know, actually hit balls with it and to get that feeling. And this is what's so great about it, I think. so
Yep.
you can actually take it out here on the course and do it.
That was one of my paramount feelings whenever I developed a swing training aid. As I played professional golf, I always envisioned a swing training aid that you could utilize while you're actually hitting the golf ball.
Yeah.
It gave you some stimulus while you're producing a golf shot, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about
Well, this
it.
is good too, because if you have little kids, you can just hook them up, and then you don't have to worry about them running away.
Yeah, they got a
They're in there.
babysitter. You're right.
That's right. So. Awesome. Well, that's great, and a little bit of background too with Brad, and you're going to show us a little bit more stuff too that you've done. Brad, who obviously won on the Nationwide Tour in '04, great ball striker, all this stuff. The one thing that you struggled with was hitting the ball farther, and some of the stuff that you're doing is, you picked up. It was actually amazing. It was kind of a buzz around the Craig Ranch area when you did this, especially with the Adams guys. They were talking about how much speed you picked up in a short amount of time. And you're going to show us another drill here in a second too with the power chain. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was one of those guys that wasn't gifted with a lot of speed. I was gifted with some skill, but the speed, I never could really find a way to harness that and how to create that speed and power. And so I learned a few years ago through some specific training how to get a little bit stronger and a little bit faster, very golf specific.
That's awesome. Well, Brad, I thank you for this, and let's get into the power chain as well.
Okay.